Okay, welcome to video number 3. In this video, we're going to get down to the brass tacks about internet marketing. I want to really draw this beef store analogy for you to get you to understand how a retail beef store is really the same as doing internet marketing. It's really no different. It just has a different terminology. But you know what? The metrics that you cover are very, very similar. You know, just as a beef store, before you built this cinder block store with no windows right on this intersection where all this traffic is, you would have done a little bit of research first to know if this was the best place for you to put the store, how much traffic was there, how much of that potential traffic you could convert to come into your store, and then from there, how many of those people are in your store would actually buy your beef, okay? Then you would be looking at the average purchase per customer and ultimately what your profit was of that purchase to determine whether you could pay your bills. Internet marketing is no different, okay? When I'm placing ads for something for, say, a woman's product, I don't advertise to men, okay? So I wouldn't pick a corner where there's a bunch of men or all men coming from, you know, the hunting lodge and whatever else and all the men-related stuff that would be around this intersection. I wouldn't do that, okay? So in our cement store analogy, the cinder block ugly store where we're selling beef, this is our beef store. You go out and remember M of miracle is mentors. And you say, okay, I've been here a month, I haven't made any money. Let's look at our track record for month 1. Okay? Month 1, 100 cars drove by. So we had 100 impressions. You'll hear that term. And an impression is somebody that drives by your store and they go, store. They may not even acknowledge you, but they saw your store. Okay? That's an impression. In internet marketing, they saw your ad. Doesn't mean they clicked on it, doesn't mean they read it, but they saw it. Okay? Or it was on the page as they were driving by. So you have 100 impressions for the month, and your cost for having your store on that street corner, we're going to pretend, was $100 for the month. That's important to know. Your cost of doing business is going to be divided into a couple important numbers that's going to determine whether you can make money at this or not. So when we look at $100 a month, 100 impressions, okay? Now, we have a person, let's say we had a 1% click-through rate, CTR. Let's say 1%. Okay? And let's say a click-through rate means they came like this. They parked their car. They realized there was no door in the back. They didn't see any sign, but they pulled into your lot. Okay? But then they left. Well, that's the same as them clicking on your ad, coming to your offering page, and not leaving their email address. Okay? So keep that in mind. Now, let's pretend for a minute that we had 1,000 impressions. That means 1,000 cars drove by. We had same cost, $100 a month. And our click-through rate was 1%. Well, 1% of 1,000, as we well know, is 10. So 10, same click-through rate, 1% of 1,000 is 10. Now, of those 10, let's say that 20% opt in. You'll hear that word a lot. 20% opt in. Okay? Well, if this is all beef eaters, you know, having a 20 to 50% opt-in ratio is not a bad number, especially if you're giving away something of value. You're going, well, what's my cost to create a customer? My cost to create a customer is $20, my lead acquisition. So how much can I give away? Come in and get one $2 steak for free if you give me your information, if you opt in. Okay? So often we will call that the freemium. what kind of, I'm going to step back here for 1 second. We're talking about 10, and then we have a 20% opt-in ratio. That's a conversion, as they say. What's your conversion of clicks, CTR to opt-ins? Well, our conversion ratio is 20% from clicks to leads. So 20%, these are the people that pulled into the parking lot, 10. Okay? That's how many people clicked through. So 2 people opted in. Two people opted in to our page. So what's that mean? They came out of their car and into the store. And they said, "Hi, my name's Bob. Yeah, I'd love to know when you have Argentina beef because I really don't like USA beef. Here's my information. Call me when you have Argentine beef." They might be that specific. So bottom line is they've given you their contact information. So that is an opt-in. This is a click-through when they stop right here. So this is stage 1. Stage 2 is when they come into your store and my board's falling over here. Stage 2 is when they come into your store and they give you their information. Often they give you their email first, and then through additional marketing you get their name, you get their number, and you may get their information in stages, but ultimately the key to this business is knowing as much about your customer as you can. Okay? So we've had 1,000 people drive by the store, impressions. We know our cost for that 1,000 impressions was $100. We know that we had a 1% click-through rate, so that gave us 10 leads, 10 people that pulled into our parking lot. So that's our click-throughs. 20% of those opted in, so we have a conversion ratio of from click-throughs to opt-ins of 20%, and that generated 2 leads. So our lead cost of $50 divided by 2, I'm sorry, it's $100, divided by 2 equals $50 per lead. Okay? That didn't necessarily make a sale for us. That's how much it cost us to get them in the store. Now, these numbers are different from internet marketing numbers, and we'll talk about that in a future video. But I want to give you a realistic example on the beef side. So if it costs you $50 to get somebody to walk in your store, and your average person is going to buy $100 of beef from you a month, okay, then you can start working out some numbers. Now, how many of those people that opted in ended up buying beef? Well, that's step number 3. They come to the cash register, and let's say we had a 50% sales conversion ratio of people that are 2 leads, one of them became a customer. Okay? Now that customer they may buy one product and never come back again, but if they really like the experience, they might come in, month out. When you offer USA beef this month, USDA beef this month, next month you offer Brazilian beef, they may not come back. But then you offer Argentine beef, and their neighbor told them that Argentine beef is the best, then they do that. And then the next month they hear the story about the cows that get massaged and fed cure and beer, and you got Japanese Kobe beef, and they want to come back and try that. Or they may think that's cruel and say, I don't want to have Japanese Kobe beef, whatever. People have different reasons for buying different things and not buying different things, and you need to take that into account. So, in looking at this scenario, 1,000 people drove by. It cost us $100 to have those 1,000 people go by. 1% click-through. They pulled into our parking lot. 10, so that's 10 people. 20% opted in, so that means out of the 10, they got in their car and they came in. Okay? Now, what could we do to improve these numbers? Okay, well, very simple. We could put a window right here, right here. We could make our landing pages better. We could improve our copy of our emails that go out to convince people to come into our store. We can improve our marketing, okay? We don't always have to do that. Usually these people, I mean, I saw like Amy Porterfield's product recently. She had Glazier Kennedy do her launch. She's one of the best writers around. You know, when you market Amy's product, you're going to be marketing her product with some of the best marketing material money can buy, okay? So when we look at this scenario, another thing we could do is we could put those guys out on the street corner that spin those signs, and they sit there and they got their Walkmans on and they're going, you know, like this. You've seen those guys, they do gold and stuff like that. You can tell I don't have a beat whatsoever. I could not do that job, and I'm fine with that. Anyway, we could put guys out on the street that are out there, you know, pointing to the store, and we could change this from a 3% click-through rate and have 30 people that come into the parking lot, 20% opt in. That changes this number to 6. Okay, 6 changes this number. 6 leads into 100, changes it down to what, about $25, $28, $30. Where are we at? 6 into 100 is 12, 13, 14, 15, about $17 a lead. Okay? So, can you make more money when you pay $17 for a person to come in the store than you do $50? You better believe it. Okay? So, when you look at the idea of internet marketing, this is very, very important. What is your lead cost to get them to come into step number 2? So, think about that in these numbers. Okay, if your ad copy, in internet marketing, on click-through rates, the difference between 0.05 and 0.1 is gigantic. A 500th of a percent or something like that. It's a gigantic difference. So when you look at these numbers, you say, okay, what if we could get a 5% opt-in ratio and we could have 50 leads, okay, and 10, now our lead cost is $10 a lead, okay? Now, we know if somebody buys $100 of product a month, and of those 50 leads, we still have a 50% conversion product, because we know once they're in the store, there's a good chance they're going to like our product. Because let's say we really do have a quality product. We just didn't know how to open the windows up. We didn't know how to put the spinners out there on the sidewalks directing people in. We didn't know how, we didn't have that best beef of the world sign out on the thing. It just didn't have a sign, it just said beef. Best beef of the world. Made a huge difference. It increased our click-through ratio from 1% to 5%. It increased our click-through rate of people who pulled into our parking lot from 10 to 50. And of that, the 20% who came in the door, maybe we put a covered walkway and we increased this to 40%. 40% came in the store because we put a covered walkway, or we put a greeter out here. Okay? 40% came into the store. So that would be 40% times 50 people that pulled into the parking lot would be 20. Now you divide 20 into $100, and what do you got? $5 a lead. Okay? You starting to see the magic here? The difference of how you adjust these numbers right here in internet marketing is huge. And what we do in internet marketing and using a different landing page, what can make a huge difference in a landing page? Well, obviously the headline. The pictures can make a huge difference. The grab line, the hook as we call it. The bullets, how they're worded. Okay? Instead of saying click here, it'll say gain instant access. Okay? Maybe it's the freemium we add to the landing page. The freemium could say come inside. Here it is right here. We add a freemium. Come inside. A person out here handing coupons out. Come inside. Here's a $10 coupon if you come inside. You say, well, Tom, I can't afford to give away $10 coupons. Yeah, you can if they're converting into customers and you have repeat business to come bring them back. Because you want to get them to step 3. You want to get them to step 2 to get their information. Then, of course, once you have their information, your goal is to get them to step 3, and that is to buy your product. Okay? So, when you look at these numbers, these are all very important. You're going to have a steady amount of traffic, and when you do have a $5 lead and you're selling $100 of product and your profit margin 60%, okay, and you start looking at your numbers and you say, okay, I'm making $60 per customer. 50% of my leads are converting. So out of 20 leads, I'm getting 10 paying customers times $100. So I'm bringing in $1,000. Okay, so 10 customers times $100 is $1,000 times a 60% profit margin. That's $600 in profit, or in total revenue, minus $100. $500 in positive cash flow. You figured it out. You figured out the formula. You learned windows, spinners, freemiums. You learned what increased your CTR. You learned what increased your opt-in ratio. You learned what increased your sales closing ratio. Okay? Once they're in the store, how do you get them to buy? As they're walking out the door, say, wait, don't go. I'll give you $20 off your beef right now if you buy something today. You ever seen that in the internet? How many websites have you come to where you've tried to leave and they drop the product price just to get you as a customer? So think about that. When they're leaving out the door, is there anybody standing at the door that says, you know, if you buy today, you get 25% off? How many retail stores don't do that? Somebody's walking off and they go, by the way, if you buy something today, right now, this coupon's good while you're in the store. Think about that, okay? Or maybe if you come back within 24 hours, we'll give you 25% off and a free steak. So, that's lesson number 1 of many, many lessons that we're going to go over. Because now that we have $500 profit, we can take 250 of that. And we can go over here. There's a advertisement at another intersection over here. And we could spend 250, let's just take $200. And we could send 1,000 people this way. Because remember, it's $100 per 1,000. We could spend $100 over here. And we could send another 1,000 this way. And you know what? We might have done studies that determine that the traffic that comes from this direction converts higher. And the traffic that comes from this direction converts higher. That's why we won't spend money on traffic that comes this way and this way. Because this may be women, vegetarians, and this may be, people that don't eat meat. This may be people coming from the health club, okay? So this traffic, this direction and this direction is no good, okay? It doesn't convert well. It doesn't have a high CTR. We want the traffic from this direction and this direction because it has a high CTR. Okay? And it's one thing to have a high CTR. It's another thing to make sure that that CTR is converting into sales. So, this is all very important. And I know this looks like a crazy football play, and I hope you can see all the numbers in here. I'm going to zoom in the camera real quick just in case there's anything you can't see. And we'll just take a look at it real quick. It looks like a Hail Mary, actually, So, you see all my numbers down here. You're not going to make heads or tails of that. But anyway, I wanted to get this across to you and help you understand. Here's your recap. All this matters. Windows, spinners, coupon people. There's a coupon person here outside the store getting them to come in. There's a coupon person here offering 25% off before they come out the store. How do you do all this stuff? It's available. It's online. There's all this stuff exists, and it's so cool. So this is the end of video number 3. I've now talked to you about the numbers. And I don't know how I got off on the numbers first, but I hope this makes sense, because we're going to throw products into this, and we're going to talk about how you use the database and how this all comes together and how you can offer multiple products. Argentine beef one month, Brazil beef the next month, Kobe beef the next month, and so on and so on and so on. And chicken, and then jumbo shrimp one month, because you have people who eat meat and they might like a little bit higher dollar product like that, you know, or lobsters from Maine or whatever. But you're ultimately going to become a full service beef, meat person. And that's what we're going to do in the next video. We're going to continue some of these examples. So hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, be sure to put your questions in the video below this, and we'll discuss it further. And when we do get into internet marketing, we're going to start using real numbers. Okay, I used just numbers off the top of my head. I didn't even prepare those numbers. That's why I couldn't add some of them up. Anyway, that we are going to get down to real numbers in internet marketing, and I'm going to show you some real examples on my Facebook account where I drive more traffic and how I test and how I do A/B tests. It's very, very easy. Somebody just has to show you how to do it. This is Tom signing off video 3. Look forward to you in the next video.